floor test because it just doesn't work. So if there's any questions, I'm open to comments or criticism, but again, very clear, we want to maximize city subsidies to whomever wants them. It's a limited pool of money. So, any questions? I don't want to be negative in any way. This is the same approach I take to anyone that would request anything from the city. I'm going to be very proactive and work with Tom and his lender to try to come up with that solution, and I think we can come up with that figure, and then you can make a determination from that point forward. Any questions or comments on that? Or?
Any comment for the council?
What's the timeline, Terry?
If I've been authorized to speak with the lender and they'll speak with me, we should be able to get something from them this week if they'll commit. But I need something down as far as a figure so that we can fill the gap with city financing. We can't fill a gap if we don't know what the other piece of the puzzle is. So I'll work with Tom and we'll urge them along as quickly as we can, but I'm going to maintain the position that we need to know that private financing figure first. So,
Mr. Mayor, Mark, I can answer your question a little bit. They asked me about the other 23% ownership of the motel. I said I'd provide that in 2 weeks. They, one of their discussions 3 weeks ago was that it's drug out so long that they have to make a business decision on whether or not they should invest in Rushford. I mean, I think that with our meeting today, it was all positive. But there has been some negative aspects of the entire development. So, but if you're talking about how quickly we move along, it's going to be quickly. Next 30 days, I would assume. Now, having said that, when you talk about tax increment financing and you talk about abatement, they require public meetings, notification, and so you could think that you support it, but you have to go through the public hearings before you actually can vote on it.
Is the TIF district, I don't know who I should point this to, but is that for those 2 lots alone, or what are we, for that whole area?
The whole area.
I hope it's for the whole entire area.
So
And the old industrial park.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's proper.
Because there is a timeline to be able to do this under some new law, some different language to be able to do that.
Exceeds 15,000 square feet or something in the letter here.
And I think there was a July, I read that somewhere, some July deadline.
July 1, I think.
July 1st.
Yeah, to have all these hearings and have all that done.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'm going to take my group of investors to this situation as quickly as possible. Terry's going to do it as quickly as possible. We'll be back to you so that we can set the public hearings and either move forward or be rejected.
Terry, I'm assuming that we are going to have new agreements drafted to replace the ones that were signed earlier.
I think that's an agenda item. There are significant issues, and I think, Tom, you're aware of that too, and those various agreements that will have to be renegotiated, I suspect, to clean up some of the issues that are
But
there.
what we're talking about here is nowhere in those original agreements.
Not to the specific degree that we're talking. I mean, they don't reference TIF and some other things. But if we get a bank approval with some contingencies on it, that's something that you should look at. And if you want to move forward with that, we'll make sure that current agreements would reflect what the current intent is.
Terry, do you need council to make a motion to authorize you to do this?
Yes, it would be above and beyond what you had authorized before, so yes.
So moved.
Second it.
Motion by Mr. Robertson, second by Mr. Hansi. Any more discussion?
I guess I would like to say, thank you for sticking with it. Thank you.
Heck, I'm a voting member of Rushford, first appeared in 2006.
And thanks for, to the investors that have stuck with you through this. I mean, if this truly does come to fruition, it'll feel like we won a Super Bowl, and that's very odd for a Vikings fan. But, if it does, it needs to come to something, some kind of end somewhere. Either built or not.
Mr. Mayor Mark, I'll cry if it's not. I mean, I haven't given up hope. Thank you.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion passes. Anything else, Joyce?
No, thank you.
Move on to 8D, receive report from Attorney Chiglo on research of community center project and consideration of any official action as may be recommended. Mr. Chiglo.
I have reviewed the various documents that relate to the community center, and there are significant issues that affect the documents themselves. Now, I am waiting for additional information from Homeland Security so that we can actually look at the project worksheets and the improved project worksheets to fully understand what happened and why FEMA denied the funds for the project. Any other detailed discussion at this point, I would like to reserve until such time as we get an answer and see if we can get something done with Mr. Siri and his bank and move something forward. Non-related to issues of Mr. Siri or his company or anything else, there are errors that occurred on behalf of the city. And I have had discussions with your insurance carrier for a possible claim under your errors and omissions policy, of which you have coverage for $500,000 per occurrence. I'm informing the council that at such time as I would recommend to you that you file a claim, I'll bring that to you, but that is increasingly looking like a possibility. And in no way should that be a reflection on Mr. Siri or his company or anything. It is not. It's a reflection upon my analysis on things that should have been done on the city side of the equation. And I'm being generally vague. So,
Well, you are an attorney.
if there are any non-specific questions, I'll certainly entertain those. Otherwise, I would have to go a different route for a closed meeting or something if you wanted to have very detailed discussions on things.
Well, when you've got all the information, we may want to do that.
Possible at the next meeting?
I'm subject to the time frames of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. When they comply, it'll be very easy to look and see what there is, and we can move it along. But
No guaranteed times.
certainly I'll have an update for you prior to the next meeting, and if it's possible to put it on, I'll let Kathy know, and we'll have that discussion.
All right, then. Let's move on then. 8E, consideration of adopting resolution number 2011-005, approving the position of the city that it has no objection to an application for the renewal of an optional 2 a.m. liquor license that would grant lawful liquor sales by Stumpy's Restaurant Incorporated at 120 Jesse Street, Rushford, Minnesota. See attached resolution.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hansi, second by Mr. Dahl. Any comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?